Well, actually, funny you should say that. I was just going to give a sort of brief overview of how I ended up in ESRI, and I have to admit I dropped geography at GCSE. Yes, I know. My first degree was hospitality management, nothing to do with geography yet. Then I did a master's in computer science, and since 2001 I have been in IT, but only about 4 years ago did I do my postgrad in GIS, so I actually can now say I am qualified to do what I do for a living. So thank you very much for the opportunity to come along today. I have 10 minutes here, so I told everyone I was going to be over in 3 seconds, but we'll see how it goes. Yes, so as I was introduced, I'm Customer Success Manager for ESRI Ireland. I've worked there for about 2.5 years now. Previous to that, I worked for our national mapping agency, Ordnance Survey Northern Ireland, where I was responsible for the IT systems there and for some of the major mapping projects that we undertook. I also have the privilege of being the chair of the Northern Ireland branch of BCS, which is the Chartered Institute for IT. We have about 1,000 members here in Northern Ireland, and we run a number of events throughout the year. We're always looking for ideas, for sponsors, and for volunteers to help out with events. So if you want to get involved, see me or Sinead, my vice chair. Hi Sinead, you. Speak to us later. On the topic, just before I get on to the GIS, the education topic that came up earlier at the panel, just to let you know, there is a thing called Computing at Schools Northern Ireland, which is partly run by BCS, and they run an initiative called Barefoot. I'm not sure how many people are aware of that, where people can volunteer, people who have skills, have knowledge in technology, who can go into primary schools and talk to teachers to help them teach computational thinking at primary schools. So again, I'm a STEM ambassador, I am a Barefoot volunteer, and I would suggest anyone should get involved in those type of initiatives as well. Okay, so let's talk about GIS. GIS, does anybody even know what it stands for? I had a few people asking me today, yes, yes, go on, answer it, yeah. Yes, thank you. So, definition of GIS, I'm just going with the Wikipedia one. GIS, or a Geographic Information System, is a system designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyse, manage and present data. That's a bit of a mouthful. So let's try and think of it an easier way. What if we thought about it like this? Everything happens somewhere. So everything today, we are somewhere. And GIS allows us to visualise the relationship between that what and that where. Understanding the relationship of what and where can help solve complex problems, make better decisions and save lives. Yay. So, the first example of linking the what with the where, and actually the birth of GIS, takes us all the way back to 1854 and a cholera outbreak in London. At the time, people believed that the disease was spread through the air, but an enterprising English Dr. John Snow, thank you very much, he wasn't convinced. So he decided to take the information, to map the outbreak locations, the roads, the property boundaries and the water lines. And when he did, he made a startling discovery. A pattern emerged. This pattern proved that the disease was not in fact airborne, but was being communicated via water, and even more specifically by one water pump. John Snow's cholera map was a major event connecting the what with the where. Not only was this the beginning of spatial analysis as we know it today, it also marked the start of a whole new field of study, epidemiology, the study of the spread of disease, and this work demonstrated that GIS is and can be used as a problem-solving tool. He put the what on a map to show the where and made a life-saving discovery. As you can imagine, GIS has come a long way since 1854. But up until 1960, there was no such thing as computer mapping. Paper maps were created laboriously, by hand, and as soon as they were created, they were out of date. Things had changed, things had moved on. It made any type of real analysis incredibly difficult, and understandably, because they were handmade, they were prone to errors and mistakes. But then, during the period of 1960 to 1975, there were major advancements in technology. GIS really started to take off. So those advancements were the ability to output map graphics using line printers for the first time, the advances in data storage with mainframe computers, and we now had the ability to record coordinates as data inputs. Since then, GIS has grown with each new technological advancement, and today GIS is used in pretty much every business sector across the world. It is used to identify problems, to monitor change, to manage and respond to events, to perform forecasting, to set priorities, and to understand trends. In the 2.5 years I've worked for ESRI Ireland, I've been involved in quite a number of projects, mostly utilities, working with the likes of NI Water, Gas Networks Ireland, Irish Water, where they're using GIS to obviously understand where their infrastructure is, to make sure they're not digging up the wrong hole in the wrong road. They're also using it to share information and to collaborate. I've also worked with other departments, like departments for communities, who are wanting to give the community at large a better understanding of where things are, where things that access to schools, to community events, etc. So it's a wide-ranging technology. So unfortunately, I didn't have quite the nerve or the strength to do a live demo today, unlike Desi before the break. So I've just taken a couple of screen grabs of some maps that we have on a website called coolmaps.esri.com. I would recommend you go and have a look at it. They're all interactive, and you can really have a good time with them. But and they look a lot better than seeing it on a PowerPoint. So anyway, the first one that I'm showing is an example which shows the impact of vehicle collisions on pedestrians, cyclists and motorists. The data source is open data from New York City, and it's allowing planners to identify the worst traffic spots in New York and to look for solutions. Now, this is the one that looks really cool if you were actually seeing it on the website. My next example presents estimates of international migrants by destination and origin. The data shown was provided by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. For the benefit of the slides, I just chose the United Kingdom as an example. So the first slide here is showing inbound migration. And, I had that the wrong way around. So the first one is showing outbound migration, and the second one is showing inbound. As I said, this is totally interactive, so if you're on the website, you can actually go and change your countries, and you can go through the different years and everything. But maybe next time I'll do a demo. So obviously those examples there that I showed were from ESRI, the company that I work for, so I thought I'd just take a minute or two to talk about the company that and where they came from. So our co-founder, Jack, back when he was in his early 20s, had studied environmental science, landscape architecture and urban design. And in his own words, I had some notion of applying computer mapping to my profession, but really I just thought it was cool and wanted to see what it could do. So in 1967, he went to Harvard and worked in the laboratory for computer graphics. And within a month of night work, he succeeded in printing his first computer map. 2 years later, him and his wife, Laura, started ESRI, which stands for Environmental Systems Research Institute, although we don't really say that anymore, but that's where we get them. It's too much of a mouthful indeed. The company today is still privately owned by Jack and Laura, and it is the largest tech company you've probably never heard of, until today, of course. Jack's belief is that geography can make the world a better place, and that belief shines through in all that he and ESRI does. From free software to schools, to only last year when Jack and Laura donated $165 million to protect 8 miles of coastal habitat in California. So, and just some stats there, I'm not going to go through them, but the interesting one is the San Diego conference with the 16,000 delegates is 3 times the size of the Apple conference, I was reliably informed. I've yet to go myself yet and experience it, but apparently it is an experience. As I said, as the technological advances have gone on, ESRI has also moved on, and we now have an online offering called ArcGIS Online, or AGOL for short. And just to give you a sort of flavour of the size and an indication of the use, I just got the stats last night. So in February this year, there were 19.2 billion requests for maps on AGOL. So it just shows you the actual scope of it. This is my last slide, yay. So the reason why I wanted to talk about it is I go to a lot of conferences, and GIS generally isn't on the track. People don't talk about it. They don't realise that it's there. It's being used. It very much used to be the GIS geek in the corner that used to create a map, and somebody would go and ask him. That's changed. The whole demographic of what we do and how we do it has changed. So that stat of $5.52 billion in 2016 was the size of the market, and it's only getting bigger. It's growing as more and more companies, governments and NGOs realise the value of the understanding the where and the what and what happens. So I just wanted to give then a quick overview of ESRI Ireland, which is the company that I work for, just in terms of the fact that we're actually here in Northern Ireland. We are a sister company of ESRI UK, and they have people working across the whole island, United Kingdom, and we have a small office in Hollywood with about 12 of us now, with ESRI Ireland's main office being down in Dublin. But in our office we have people who work on the support desk, we have consultants who go out and install and configure our software, we have developers who are using Python and JavaScript to develop solutions. In terms of women in tech, we have female solution architects, we have female customer success managers, and we actually have our first senior customer success manager that was just hired recently, or promoted recently, down in Dublin, and she is a woman as well. So there are women right across the organisation. I do feel like I'm on the BBC. Other vendors are available. I didn't want people to think it's just us. So there you go. And there's free open software and stuff out there as well. It's all good. So really, in closing, I just wanted to say how that personally, for me, I feel very proud to work for a company that believes that geography can make the world a better place, and also to volunteer for an organisation like BCS that's vision is to make IT good for society. The advances of GIS now allow for true collaboration, data sharing and analysis across the world. These advances can profoundly change the way we view our world and the way we interact with it. And maybe, just maybe, it will help us save it. So thank you very much for listening.